Today we create a mini Wi-Fi 3D printer monitor you can use with OctoPrint. I love new gadgets. So I was scrolling through Instructables as I usually do, and I came across this tiny 3D printer monitor that's Wi-Fi that uses an ESP module and an OLED screen. I had to check it out. This is the 3D printer monitor for OctoPrint that uses a Wemos D1 ESP8266 created by David Payne. It hooks up to your existing Wi-Fi and gets all of its info from your OctoPrint's API. It'll tell you your print temperatures, how much time you have left, and how much time the print's going to take. David did a great job on the Instructable. I bought a few parts from Amazon, printed out a case, and then I started building. So of course, I've got to make a video on it, so let's get started. Here are the only parts you'll need for this build. A 3D printed case, a Wemos D1 Mini ESP8266 module, and a 0.96 OLED I2C 128x64 display. So we need to solder the Wi-Fi module over to the screen. There's only 4 wires we need to hook up, so I'm going to borrow the end off of one of my motor cables and use these to plug into the screen, and then I can solder the other end onto the Wi-Fi module. That way I can take it apart if I need to later. So we'll start on this side of the screen. So this wire is VCC on my screen, and it's going to go to the 5-volt pin on the wireless module right there. Then next to that on the screen, the next one is the ground wire. It goes in the port right above it on the Wi-Fi module, right there. The next wire over on our LCD screen is the SCL pin, and it goes to the D5 pin on the wireless module, which is right there. And our last one is our SDA pin, and it goes to D2 on the Wi-Fi module, which is right there. And there we go. That's all the wiring that needs to be done for this project. So let's get a micro USB cable and hook it up to our PC and put some code on this wireless board. If you're using the same Instructable that I am, David's pretty much got everything set up for you. Let's start by downloading the source code. So we'll go out to GitHub, clone or download, download zip. We'll head to downloads. Can right click and extract all. Go into printer monitor, and we can open up the printer monitor sketch in the Arduino IDE. If you don't have the IDE, the links will be in the description below, as well links to this Instructable and this software. So you need a few additional libraries to make this module communicate correctly, and that is mentioned in this Instructable. David gives you a link to those libraries right here. So we'll copy this link, head back into the IDE, we'll go to File, go to Preferences, paste your library in this Add Additional Boards Manager URL box, click OK, go to Tools, go to Boards, go to Board Manager, and search for ESP. This ESP8266 by ESP8266 Community, that's the one you want. I already have 2.4 installed. We're going to upgrade to 2.4.1. So just hit Install. So after your ESP8266 board has been installed, we need to install a couple of additional libraries as well. So we can close this. We'll go to Sketch. We'll go to Include Library and Manage Libraries. The first one we need is the Wi-Fi Manager. So let's search for Wi-Fi Man. This is the library you need. Go ahead and select the newest version and click Install. The next one you need is the Arduino JSON library. You can just search for JSON. This is the library that you'll need. Make sure you're on the newest version. Click Install. And we'll need an SSD 1306 library. So we'll search 1306. We'll scroll down and we'll grab the ESP8266 OLED driver. This is for the display. So let's install. We can close the library manager. Now we can move on to setting up the driver for this board. I found that this is the most key step to getting this to work. So let's head back to the Instructable, and he lists the link to the drivers that we'll need right here. So let's open that up, and we can go ahead and download that driver for Windows since I'm on Windows. So let me show you what you're looking for here. So let's open up Control Panel. We'll go to Hardware. Let's go to Device Manager. Now I have all kinds of COM ports connected to this computer, but I haven't plugged in my board yet. So now I'm going to go ahead and plug in my ESP board to the computer. And you see that the board is recognized as a USB serial CH340. That means I already have this driver installed on this machine. If it says anything else besides USB serial, like ramps, you want to uninstall the driver and reinstall it. Let's go ahead and do that now. So let's go to Downloads. Here's the driver we just installed. We'll extract all. Double click. Let's do an uninstall just to be safe. Let's uncable our ESP device. We'll do an install. Driver was installed successfully. We'll cable our ESP device up again. Back to control panel. Since we reinstalled the driver, we're now on COM6, but this is what it should say. USB serial. We should be good to go. So back to the Arduino IDE. The verification was correct. We'll go to Tools. Make sure you're still on the correct board. Mine is a Wemos D1 Mini. All these can stay default. We'll go to Port. We verified our new board is on COM6. And let's hit Upload. While uploading, you will see your LED on your ESP board flash a few times. This lets you know that it is communicating and writing to the memory. When your upload's complete and everything worked out correctly, your display will read this. So now your ESP module is in its default status, and that's as an AP, or a Wi-Fi access point. So we need to get on the laptop, get on the Wi-Fi, and hook up to the ESP8266 and configure it to join our existing network. So let's jump over there. So let's check out our wireless networks. You can see the new ESP module. It's open. That's more than likely our new module that we just plugged in. Let's select that. We'll hit Connect. It should take us directly to a redirect to that module's webpage. And let's do Configure Wi-Fi No Scan. I have better luck with that. Enter your wireless SSID and your password, and then click Save. It will now restart the Wi-Fi on that module and try to connect to your existing wireless network. Now it's a good idea to unplug the module and plug it back in. And if the Wi-Fi setup was successful, you'll see your module's IP. Now we can use a web browser to connect to that IP and finish configuring the module. So we'll open up a browser. We'll go to 192.168.1.199. And there's the printer monitor app. So let's go up here to the menu. Let's go to Configure. The default login is admin and password. Now we can connect it to whichever OctoPrint instance we'd like. I'm going to connect it to my Prusa instance. So 192.168.1.182. And now we can head over to that OctoPrint instance to get our API key. So we'll go to that instance on 182. We'll go to Settings up here. We'll go to API. We'll copy our API key, Control-C. Go back to Printer Monitor and paste your API key in there. And we can set up a lot of different preferences, like if you want to see the clock or what time zone you're in. I'm in -5, so we'll switch that. And then you can just hit Save. The printer module will go back home, and it's going to give you some information about your current OctoPrint instance. And you can also see that it's updating correctly on your screen. When your printer is disconnected, it's just going to display the time and tell you that it's offline. Then you can hit Connect, and now it'll start displaying the printer's stats, like temperature and print time left. So let's go ahead and hit Print on OctoPrint. You see it's updated the bed and tool temp. There's 31 minutes left on the print. It's been printing for 1 minute and 5 seconds. And if you want to make changes to your print monitor, remember you can just go back into the web interface of that module and make those changes and hit Save. Like if you want the refresh time to be sooner. Right now it's only updating every 1 minute. So now that we know everything's working, let's unplug our module. Then we'll perform the ever so important task of removing the plastic off the LCD screen. And then we can mount our screen and our ESP into our case. The screen just sets in the case like this. You can attach it with some hot glue or some super glue, whatever you need to hold it in place. It shouldn't take that much. And once your screen's in place, your board can just slide into this mount that's provided in the case. It'll slide in right like this. Then we can put the back on the case. I'm just going to use a couple of really small wood screws. And then you're done. You can put it down wherever you have USB power and monitor your print the whole time. So there you go. Now you can set it up anywhere you have USB power. I'll probably set it next to my computer so I can keep an eye on OctoPrint while I'm working on other things. And for less than $20 worth of parts, this is a pretty amazing little thing. A huge thanks to David Payne for putting together the instructables that made this super easy to put together. All of his information and the parts I use will be in the description below. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. If not, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. Alright, my print's done.